Welcome, crew, guys, gals, ghouls, friends, fiends, foes, whoever may be listening beyond the Omniverse tonight. Security and full hats, buckle down tight and hold on loosely as we soar over the rocky tops of the Platas on a rocky mountain high, get sucked into the vortex of the Four Corners, and settle down snugly at mile marker 420 in colorful Colorado. It is Sunday, June 30th. Monday, July 1st, for those of you across the pond and beyond. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, and welcome to We Are Paradox Media's Late Night Rockies. I'm your host, TessaTNT, and we are broadcasting live from the Mile High Clubhouse tonight. I'm so grateful you could join us this evening. If you're listening to us live right now, you may be listening to us on Spreaker.com under We Are Paradox Media. You can also listen to us live on KPNL Radio, which you can find at KPNL Radio at kpnl-db.com, as well as eTalk Radio, which you can find at etalk.tv/radio. If you'd like to watch as well as listen, you can tune in to us on YouTube under We Are Paradox Media, as well as Facebook. This evening we are under We Are Paradox Media, as well as Four Corners Paranormal Investigations. Hey Jay, how's it going? We're a little late today. Have a crazy thunderstorm going on and had some power outage happening, but we made it. So we're gonna do story time tonight, and I'm excited. We get to move on to this next book, Mr. Douglas Adams' The Restaurant at the End of the Universe. Bert said like 47 or 48. I was like, what is that? He said that is the answer to life or something like that. So perhaps it's something in the book. Yeah, I'm super excited to get into this. So not the first page, but one of the first pages, it says, there's a theory which states that if ever anyone discovers exactly what the universe is for and why it is here, it will instantly disappear and be replaced by something even more bizarre and inexplicable. There is another which states that this has already happened. Chapter 1. The story so far. I need to just hit something. Just making sure everything is good to go. Yeah, I thought I had everything up and running, and I was like, holy shnikes, my string everything even on. I'm ready. The story so far. In the beginning, the universe was created. This has made a lot of people very angry and been widely regarded as a bad move. Many races believe that it was created by some sort of god, though the Travartid people of Vitvatal 6, I believe that the entire universe was in fact sneezed out of the nose of a being called the Great Green Arclesia. The Travartids, who live in perpetual fear of the time they call the coming of the Great White Handkerchief, or small blue creatures with more than 50 arms each, who are therefore unique in being the only race in history to have invented the aerosol deodorant for the will. However, the Great Green Arclesia theory is not widely accepted outside of Viltval 6, and so, the universe being the puzzling place it is, other explanations are constantly being sought. For instance, a race of hyper-intelligent, pan-dimensional beings once built themselves a gigantic supercomputer called Deep Thought. To calculate once and for all, the answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything. For 7.5 million years, Deep Thought computed and calculated, and in the end announced that the answer was in fact 42. And so, another, even bigger computer had to be built to find out what the actual answer was. And this computer, which was called the Earth, was so large that it was frequently mistaken for a planet, especially by the strange ape-like beings who roamed its surface, totally unaware that they were simply part of the gigantic computer program. And this is very odd because without the fairly simple and obvious piece of knowledge, nothing that ever happened on the Earth could possibly make the slightest bit of sense. Sadly, however, just before the critical moment of the readout, the Earth was unexpectedly demolished by the Vogons to make way, so they claimed, for a new hyperspace bypass. And so all hope of discovering a meaning for life was lost forever. Or so it would seem. Two of these strange ape-like creatures survived. Arthur Dent escaped at the very last moment because an old friend of his, Lord Prefect, suddenly turned out to be from a small planet somewhere in the vicinity of Betelgeuse, and not from Guildford, as he had hitherto claimed. And more to the point, he knew how to hitch ride on flying saucers. Trisha McMillan, or Trillian, had skipped the planet 6 months earlier with Zaphod Beeblebrox, the then president of the galaxy. Two survivors. They are all that remained the greatest experiment ever conducted, to find the ultimate question and the ultimate answer to life, the universe, and everything. And less than 500,000 miles from where the starship is drifting lazily through the inky blackness of space, a Vogon ship is moving slowly toward them. So just gonna go here to check the volume of sound, but it's looking good. Looking good. Chapter 2. Like all Vogon ships, it looked as if it had been not so much designed as congealed. Unpleasant yellow lumps and orifices, which protruded from it at unsightly angles, would have disfigured the looks of most ships. But in this case, that was sadly impossible. Uglier things have been spotted in the skies, but not by reliable witnesses. In fact, to see anything much uglier than a Vogon ship, you would have to go inside it and look at a Vogon. If you are wise, however, this is precisely what you will avoid doing, because the average Vogon will not think twice before doing something so pointlessly hideous to you that you will wish you had never been born. Or, if you are a clear-minded thinker, that the Vogon had never been born. In fact, the average Vogon probably wouldn't even think once. They are simple-minded, thick-willed, slug-brained creatures, and think it is not really something that they are cut out for. Anatomical analysis of the Vogon reveals that its brain was originally a badly deformed, misplaced, and dyspeptic liver. The fairest thing you can ever say about them, then, is that they know what they are, and what they like generally involves hurting people and, wherever possible, getting very angry. One thing they don't like is leaving a job unfinished, particularly this Vogon, and particularly for various reasons. This Vogon was Captain Prostinik Vogon Jeltz of the Galactic Hyperspace Planet Council, and it was who had the job of demolishing the so-called planet Earth. He caved his momentarily vile body round in his ill-fitting slimy seat and stared at the monitor screen on which the starship Heart of Gold was being systematically scanned. It mattered little to him that the Heart of Gold, with its infinite improbability drive, was the most beautiful and revolutionary ship ever built. Aesthetics and technology were closed books to him, and, had he had his way, burned and buried books as well. It mattered even less to him that Zaphod Beeblebrox was aboard. Zaphod Beeblebrox was now the ex-president of the galaxy, and though every police force in the galaxy was currently pursuing both him and this ship he had stolen, the Vogon was not interested. He had other fish to fry. It has been said that the Vogons are not above a little bribery and corruption, in the same way that the sea is not above the clouds, and this was certainly true in this case. When he heard the words integrity or moral rectitude, he reached for his dictionary, and when he heard the chink of ready money in large quantities, he reached for the rule book and threw it away. In seeking so implacably the destruction of of the earth and all therein that lay, he was moving somewhat above and beyond the call of his professional duty. There was even some doubt as to whether the said bypass was actually going to be built, but the matter had been glossed over. He grunted a repellent grunt of satisfaction. "Computer," he croaked, "get me my brain care specialist on the line." Within a few seconds, Face Glove, Gag Halfront appeared on the screen, smiling the smile of a man who knew he was 10 light years away from the Bogon face he was looking at. Mixed up somewhere in the smile was a glint of irony too, but the Bogon persistently referred to him as my private brain care specialist. There was not a lot of brain to take care of, and it was in fact Halfront who was employing the Bogon. He was paying him an awful lot of money to do some very dirty work. As one of the galaxy's most prominent and successful psychiatrists, he and a consortium of his colleagues were quite prepared to spend an awful lot of money when it seemed that the entire future of psychiatry might be at stake. "Well," he said, "hello, my captain of Bogons, Prostetnik, and how are we feeling today?" The Bogon captain told him that in the last few hours, he had wiped out nearly half his crew in a disciplinary exercise. Halfront's smile did not flicker for an instant. "Well," he said, "I think this is perfectly normal behavior for a Bogon, you know. The natural and healthy channeling of the aggressive instincts into acts of senseless violence." "That," rumbled the Bogon, "is what you always say." "Well, again," said Halfront, "I think that this is perfectly normal behavior for a psychiatrist." "Good. We are clearly both very well adjusted in our mental attitudes today. Now tell me, what news of the mission?" "I've located the ship." "Wonderful," said Halfront. "Wonderful. And the occupants?" "The Earthman is there." "Excellent. And?" "A female from the same planet." "They are the last." "Good, good," beamed Halfront. "Who else?" "The man prefect." "Yes?" "And Zaphod Beeblebrox." For an instant, Halfrent's smile flickered. "Ah, yes," he said. "I had been expecting this. It is most regrettable." "A personal friend?" inquired the Bogon, who had heard the expression someone once and decided to try it out. "Ah, no," said Halfront. "In my profession, you know, we do not make personal friends." "Ah," returned the Bogon. "Professional detachment?" "No," said Halfront cheerfully. "We just don't have the knack." He paused. His mouth continued to smile, but his eyes frowned slightly. "But Beeblebrox, you know," he said. "He is one of my most profitable clients. He has personality problems beyond the dreams of analysis." He toyed with this thought a little before reluctantly dismissing it. Still, he said, "You are ready for your task?" "Yes." "Good. Destroy the ship immediately." "What about Beeblebrox?" "Well," said Halfront quickly, "Zaphod's just this guy, you know." He vanished from the screen. The Bogon captain pressed a communicator button, which connected him with the remains of his crew. "Attack!" he said. At that precise moment, Zaphod Beeblebrox was in his cabin, swearing very loudly. 2 hours ago, he had said that they would go for a quick bite at the restaurant at the end of the universe. Whereupon he had added a blazing row with a ship's computer and stormed off to his cabin shouting that he would work on the improbability factors with a pencil. The heart of goals and probability drive made it the most powerful and unpredictable ship in the existence. There was nothing it couldn't do, provided he knew exactly how improbable it was that the thing he wanted to do wouldn't even happen. He had stolen it when, as president, he was meant to be launching it. He didn't know exactly why he had stolen it, except that he liked it. He didn't know why he had become president of the galaxy, except that it seemed a fun thing to be. He didn't know that there were better reasons than these, but that they were buried in a dark, locked-off section of his two brains. He wished the dark, locked-off section of his two brains would go away because they occasionally surfaced momentarily and put strange thoughts into the light, fun sections of his mind, and tried to deflect him from what he saw as being the basic business of his life, which was to have a wonderfully good time. At the moment, he was not having a wonderfully good time. He had run out of patience and pencils and was feeling very hungry. "Starpox!" he shouted. At that same precise moment, Ford Prefect was in midair. This was not because of anything wrong with the ship's artificial gravity field, but because he was leaping down the stairwell which led to the ship's personal cabins. It was a very high jump to do in one bound, and he landed awkwardly, stumbled, recovered, and raced down the corridor, sending a couple of miniature circus robots sliding. Flying, skidded around the corner, burst into Zappa's door, and explained what was on his mind. "Vagons," he said. A short while before this, Arthur Dent had set out from his cabin in search of a cup of tea. It was not a quest he embarked upon with a great deal of optimism, because he knew that the only source of hot drinks on the entire ship was a benighted piece of equipment produced by the Sirius Cybernetics Corporation. It was called a Nutramatic Drinks Synthesizer, and he had encountered it before. It claimed to produce the widest possible range of drinks personally matched to the taste of the metabolism of whoever cared to use it. When put to the test, however, it invariably produced a plastic cup filled with a liquid which was almost but not quite entirely unlike tea. Excuse me. He attempted to reason with the thing. "Tea," he said. "Share and enjoy," the machine replied, and provided him with yet another cup of sickly liquid. He threw it away. "Share and enjoy," the machine repeated, and produced another one. "Share and enjoy" is the company motto of the hugely successful Sirius Cybernetics Corporation Complaints Division, which now covers the major land masses of 3 medium-sized planets and is the only part of the corporation to have shown a consistent profit in recent years. The motto stands, or rather stood, in 3 mile-high illuminated letters near the Complaints Department spaceport in Atrax. Unfortunately, its weight was such that shortly after it was erected, the ground beneath the letters caved in, and they dropped for nearly half their length through the offices of many talented young complaints executives, now deceased. The protruding upper half of the letters now appeared in the local language to read, "Go stick your head in a pig," and are no longer eliminated except at times of special celebration. Arthur threw away 6 cups of liquid. "Listen, you machine," he said. "You claim you can synthesize any drink in existence, so why do you keep giving me the same undrinkable stuff?" "Nutrition and pleasurable sense data," burbled the machine. "Share and enjoy. It tastes filthy. If you have enjoyed the experience of this drink," continued the machine, "why not share it with your friends?" "Because," said Arthur tartly, "I want to keep them. Will you try to comprehend what I'm telling you? That drink," said the machine sweetly, "was individually tailored to meet your personal requirements for nutrition and pleasure." "Ah," said Arthur, "so I'm a masochist on a diet, am I? Share and enjoy." "Oh, shut up. Will that be all?" Arthur decided to give up. "Yes," he said. Then he decided he'd be damned if he'd give up. "No," he said. "Look, it's very, very simple. All I want is a cup of tea. You're going to make one for me. Keep quiet and listen." I don't know why my camera keeps going off. And he sat. He told the Nutramatic about India. He told it about China. He told it about Ceylon. He told it about broadleaves drying in the sun. He told it about broadleaves drying in the sun. He told it about silver teapots. He told it about summer afternoons on the lawn. He told it about putting in the milk before the tea so it wouldn't get scalded. He even told it briefly about the history of the East India Company. "So that's it, is it?" said the Nutramatic when he had finished. "Yes," said Arthur. "That is what I want." "You want the taste of dried leaves boiled in water?" Yes, with milk." "Squirted out of a cow?" "Well, in a manner of speaking, I suppose." "I'm going to need some help with this one," said the machine seriously. All the cheerful warble had dropped out of its voice, and it now meant business. "Well, anything I can do," said Arthur. "You've done quite enough," the Nutramatic informed him. But summoned up the ship's computer. "Hi there," said the ship's computer. The Nutramatic explained about tea to the ship's computer. The computer boggled, linked logic circuits with the Nutramatic, and together they lapsed into a grim silence. Arthur watched and waited for a while, but nothing further happened. He thumped it, still nothing happened. Eventually, he gave up and wandered out to the bridge in the empty waste of space. The particle held still. Around it blazed a million pinpricks of the galaxy. Towards it crept the ugly yellow man, the lump of the Vogon ship. Chapter 3. "Does anyone have a kettle?" Arthur asked, as he had walked onto the bridge, and instantly began to wonder why Trillian was yelling at the computer to talk to her. Ford was thumping it, and Zaphod was kicking it. Also, why there was a nasty yellow lump on the vision screen. He put down the empty cup he was carrying and walked over to them. "Hello," he said. At that moment, Zaphod flung himself over to the polished marble surfaces that contained the instruments that controlled the conventional photon drive. They materialized beneath his hands, and he flipped over to the manual control. He pushed, he pulled, he pressed, and he swore. The photon drive gave a sickly shudder and cut out again. "Something up?" said Arthur. "Hey, did you hear that?" muttered Zaphod, as he leaned down with manual control. On the infinite improbability drive, the monkey spoke. The improbability drive gave two small lines and then also cut out. "Pure history, man," said Zaphod, kicking the improbability drive and talking monkey. "If you're upset about something," said Arthur. Vogon snapped forward. "We're under attack." Arthur gibbered. "Well, what are you doing? Let's get out of here." "Yeah, computer jammed." "Jammed?" "It says all its circuits are occupied. There's no power anywhere in the ship." Ford moved away from the computer terminal, wiped a sleeve across his forehead, and slumped back against the wall. "Nothing we can do," he said. He glared at nothing, and bit his lip. When Arthur had been a boy at school long before the Earth had been demolished, he had used to play football. He had not been at all good at it, and his particular specialty had been scoring own goals in important matches. Whenever this happened, he used to experience a peculiar tingling around the back of his neck that would slowly creep up across his cheeks and heat his brow. The image of mud and glass and lots of little jeering boys flinging it at him suddenly came vividly to his mind at this moment. A peculiar tingling sensation at the back of his neck was creeping up across his cheeks and heating his brow. He started to speak and stopped. He started to speak again and stopped again. Finally, he managed to speak. He said, as he cleared his throat. "Tell me," he continued, and said it so nervously that the others all turned and stared at him. He glanced at the approaching yellow blob on the vision screen. "Tell me," he said again, "did the computer say what was occupying it? I just asked out of interest." Their eyes were riveted on him, and, well, that's it really, just asking. Zaphod put out a hand and held Arthur by the scruff of the neck. "What have you done to it, monkey man?" he breathed. "Well," said Arthur, "nothing in fact, it's just that I think a short while ago it was trying to work out how to..." "Yes?" "Make some tea." "That's right, guys," computer sang out suddenly. Just coping with that problem right now, and wow, it's a biggie. Be with you in a while. It lapsed back into silence that was only matched for sheer intensity by the silence of the three people staring at Arthur Dent. As if to relive the tension, the Vogons chose that moment to start firing. The ship shook, the ship thundered. Outside the inch-thick force field around it blistered, crackled, and spat under the barrage of a dozen 30 megahertz definite kilotrazon cannon, and looked as if it wouldn't be around for long. 4 minutes is how long the Ford prefect gave it. 3 minutes and 50 seconds, he said, a short while later. 45 seconds, he added, at the appropriate time. He flicked idly at some useless switches, then gave Arthur an unfriendly look. Dying for a cup of tea, eh? He said. 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Will you stop counting? Snarled Zaphod. Yes, said Ford Prefect. In 3 minutes and 35 seconds. Aboard the Vogon ship, Prostetnik Vogon Jelks was puzzled. He had expected a chase. He had expected an exciting grapple for the tractor beams. He had expected to have to use a specialty assault subcyclic normality assertitron to counter the Heart of Gold's infinite improbability drive. But subcyclic normality assertitron lay idle as the Heart of Gold just sat there and took it. A dozen 30 megahertz definite kill Frotrazon cannon continued to blaze away at the Heart of Gold, and still it just sat there and took it. He tested every sense at his disposal to see if there was any subtle trickery afoot. But no subtle trickery was to be found. He didn't know about the tea, of course. Nor did he know exactly how the occupants of Heart of Gold were spending the last 3 minutes and 30 seconds of life that they had left to spend. Quite how Zaphod Beeblebrox arrived at the idea of holding a seance at this point is something he was never quite clear on. Obviously, the subject of death was in the air, but more something to be avoided than harped upon. Possibly the horror that Zaphod experienced at the prospect of being reunited with his deceased relatives led him to the thought that they might just feel the same way about him, and, what's more, be able to do something about helping to postpone his reunion. Or again, it might just have been one of the strange promptings that occasionally surfaced from that dark area of his mind that he had inexplicably locked off prior to becoming president of the galaxy. You want to talk to your great-grandfather? Bugged Ford. Yeah. Does it have to be now? The ship continued to shake and thunder. The temperature was rising. The light was getting dimmer. All the energy the computer didn't require for thinking about tea was being pumped into the rapidly fading force. It's really storming out there. Yeah, insisted Zaphod. Listen, Ford. I think he may be able to help us. Are you sure you mean think? Pick your words with care. Suggest something else we can do. Well, okay. Round the central console. Now, come on. Trillion, Monkey Man, move. They clustered round the central console in confusion, sat down, and feeling exceptionally foolish, held hands with his third hand. Zaphod turned off the lights. Darkness gripped the ship. Outside, the thunderous roar of the definite kill cannon continued to rip at the force field. Concentrate, hissed Zaphod. On his name. What is it? Asked Arthur. Zaphod Beeblebrox the Fourth. What? Zaphod Beeblebrox the Fourth. Concentrate. The Fourth? Yeah, listen, I'm Zaphod Beeblebrox. My father was Zaphod Beeblebrox the Second. My grandfather, Zaphod Beeblebrox the Third. What? There was an accident with a contraceptive and time machine. Now concentrate. 3 minutes, said Floor Prefect. Why, said Arthur Dick, are we doing this? Shut up, suggested Zaphod Beeblebrox. Trillian said nothing. What she thought was there to say. The only light on the bridge came from two dim triangles in the far corner where Marvin, the paranoid android, sat slumped, ignoring all and ignored by all, in a private and rather unpleasant role of his own. Yes? I'm reading a story. I'm reading. Besides. I'm sorry, boy. Don't be sad. Get out of here with your sad little dimple chin. Hey, what's up, UFO Bigfoot? Good to see ya. Floyd wants to play World of Tanks, but he said my doing the show is causing lag. Man, it is storming. I don't know if you guys can hear all that thunder and lightning. It's crazy. Alright. Around the central console, 4 figures hunched in tight concentration, trying to blot from their minds the terrifying shuddering of the ship and the fearful roar that echoed through it. They concentrated. Still they concentrated. And still they concentrated. The seconds ticked by. On Zaphod's brows stood beads of sweat. First concentration, then of frustration, and finally of embarrassment. At last he let out a cry of anger, snatched back his hands from Trillian and Ford, and stabbed at the light switch. I was beginning to think you'd turn the lights on, said a voice. No, not too bright, please. My eyes aren't what they were once. 4 figures jolted upright in their seats. Slowly, they turned their heads to look, though their scalps showed a distinct propensity to try and stay in the same place. Now, who disturbs me at this time? Said the small, bent, gaunt figure, standing by the sprays of fern at the far end of the bridge. His 2 small, wispy-haired heads looked so ancient that it seemed they might hold dim memories of the birth of the galaxies themselves. He lulled in sleep. The other squinted sharply at them. If his eyes weren't what they once were, they must once have been diamond cutters. Zaphod stuttered nervously for a moment. He gave the intricate little double nod, which was the traditional Beetlejuicean gesture of familial respect. Great-granddad, he breathed. The little old figure moved closer toward them. He peered through the dim light. He thrust out a bony finger at his great-grandson. Ah, he snapped. Zaphod Beeblebrox, the last of our great line. Zaphod Beeblebrox, the nothingth. The first. The nothingth, spat the figure. Zaphod hated his voice. It always seemed to him to screech like fingernails across the blackboard of what he'd like to think of as soul. Wow. He tipped awkwardly in his seat. Yeah, he muttered. Look, I'm really sorry about the flowers. I meant to send them along, but, the shop was fresh out of wreaths, and you forgot, snapped Zaphod Beeblebrox forth. Well, too busy. Never think of other people. The living are all the same. 2 minutes, Zaphod whispered Ford in an odd whisper. Zaphod fidgeted nervously. Yeah, but I didn't mean to send them, he said, and I'll write to my great-grandmother as well just as soon as we get out of this. Your great-grandmother, mused the gaunt little figure to himself. Yeah, said Zaphod. How is she? Tell you what, I'll go and see her. But first, we just got to... Your late great-grandmother and I are very well. rasped Zaphod Beeblebrox IV. Oh, but very disappointed in you, young Zaphod. Yeah, well, Zaphod felt strangely powerless to take charge of this conversation. And Ford's heavy breathing at his side told him that the seconds were ticking away fast. The noise and the shaking had reached terrifying proportions. He saw Trillian's and Arthur's faces, white and unblinking in the gloom. Great-grandfather? We've been following your progress with considerable despondency. Yeah, look, just at that moment, you see, not to say content. Could you sort of listen for a moment? I mean, what exactly are you doing with your life? I'm being attacked by a Bogon fleet, cried Zaphod. It was an exaggeration, but it was his only opportunity so far of getting the basic point of the exercise across. Doesn't surprise me in the least, said the little old figure with a shrug. Only it's happening right now, you see, insisted Zaphod feverishly. The spectral ancestor nodded, picked up the cup Arthur had brought in, and looked at it with interest. Great-granddad? Did you know, interrupted the ghostly figure, fixing Zaphod with a stern look, that Betelgeuse 5 has now developed a very slight eccentricity in its orbit? Zaphod didn't, and found the information hard to concentrate on, what with all the noise and the imminence of death and so on. No, look, he said. My spinning in my grave, barked the ancestor. He slammed the cup down and pointed a quivering, stick-like, see-through finger at Zaphod. Your fault, he screeched. 1 minute 30, muttered Ford, his head in his hands. Yeah, look, great-granddad, can you actually help? Because, help, exclaimed the old man, as he'd been asked for a weasel. Yeah, help, and like, now, because otherwise... Help, repeated the old man, as if he'd been asked for a lightly grilled weasel in a bun with french fries. He stood amazed. You go swinging your way around the galaxy with your, the ancestor waved a contemptuous hand, with your disreputable friends, too busy to put flowers on my grave. Plastic ones would have done. Would have been quite appropriate for you, but no, too busy, too modern, too skeptical, till you suddenly find yourself in a bit of a fix, and come over suddenly, all astrally minded. He shook his head carefully, so as not to disturb the slumber of the other one, which was already becoming restive. Well, no, young Zaphod, he continued. I think I'll have to think about this one. 1 minute 10, said Ford hollowly. Zaphod Beeblebrox IV peered at him curiously. Why does that man keep talking in numbers? He said. Those numbers, said Zaphod, tersely, are the time we've got left to live. Oh, said his great-grandfather. He grunted to himself. Doesn't apply to me, of course, he said, and moved off to a dimmer recess of the bridge, in search of something else to poke around at. Zaphod felt he was teetering on the edge of madness and wondered if he shouldn't just jump over and have done with it. Great-grandfather, he said, it applies to us. We are still alive and are about to lose our lives. Good job, too. What? What use is your life to anyone? When I think what you've made of it, the phrase Shakespeare comes irresistibly to mind. But I was president of the galaxy, man. Huh, muttered his ancestor. And what kind of job is that for a Beeblebrox? Hey, what? Only president, you know, of the whole galaxy? Conceited little mega puppy. Zaphod blinked in bewilderment. Hey, where are you at, man? I mean, great-grandfather. The hunched-up little figure stalked up to his great-grandson and tapped him sternly on the knee. This had the effect of reminding Zaphod that he was talking to a ghost because he didn't feel a thing. You know, and I know what being president means, young Zaphod. You know, because you've been it, and I know because I'm dead, and it gives one such a wonderfully unclouded perspective. We have a saying up here, life is wasted on the living. Yes, it's definitely very good, very deep. Right now, I need aphorisms, like I need holes in my head. 50 seconds, grunted Fort Prefect. Where was I? Said Zaphod Beeblebrox the Fourth. Pontificating, said Zaphod Beeblebrox. Oh, yes. Can this guy, muttered Ford quietly to Zaphod, actually in fact help us? Nobody else can, whispered Zaphod. Ford nodded despondently. Zaphod, the ghost was saying, you became president of the galaxy for a reason. Have you forgotten? Should we go into this later? Have you forgotten? Insisted the ghost. Yeah, of course I forgot. I had to forget. They screen your brain when you get the job, no? If they'd found my head full of tricksy ideas, I'd have been right out in the streets again with nothing but a fat pension, secretarial staff, a fleet of ships, and a couple of slit throats. Ah, muttered the ghost in satisfaction. Then you do remember. He paused for a moment. Good, he said, and the noise stopped. 48 seconds, said Ford. He looked again at his watch and tapped it. He looked up. Hey, the noise has stopped, he said. A mischievous twinkle gleamed in the ghost's squint, hard little eyes. I've slowed down time for a moment, he said. Just for a moment, you understand. I would hate you to miss all I have to say. Now you listen to me, you see-through bat, said Zaphod, leaping out of his chair. Thanks for stopping time and all that. Great, terrific, and wonderful, but no thanks for the humbling, right? I don't know what this great thing I'm meant to do or be doing is, and it looks to me as if I was supposed to not know, and I resent that, right? The old me knew, the old me cared. Fine, so far so good, except that the old me cared so much that he actually got inside his own brain, my own brain, and locked off the bits that knew and cared, because if I knew and cared, I wouldn't be able to do it. I wouldn't be able to go and be president, and I wouldn't be able to steal this ship, which must be the important thing. But this former self of mine killed himself off, didn't he, by changing my brain? Okay, that was his choice. This new me has its own choices to make. By a strange coincidence, those choices involve not knowing and not caring about this big number, whatever it is. That's what he wanted. That's what he got. Where did it go? Except this old self of mine tried to leave himself in control, leaving orders for me and the bit of my brain he locked off. I don't want to know and I don't want to hear them. That's my choice. I'm not going to be anybody's puppet, particularly not my own. Zaphod banged on the console in fury, oblivious of the dumbfounded looks he was attracting. The old me is dead, he raved. Killed himself. The dead shouldn't hang about trying to interfere with the living. And yet you summoned me up to help you out of a scrape, said the ghost. Ah, said Zaphod, sitting down again. Well, that's different, isn't it? He grinned at Trillian weakly. Zaphod? Rasped the apparition. I think the only reason I waste my breath on you is that being dead, I don't have any other use for it. Okay, said Zaphod. Why don't you tell me what the big secret is? Try me. Zaphod, you knew when you were president of the galaxy, as did Uden Vranks before you. And the president is nothing, a cipher. Somewhere in the shadows behind is another man, being something with ultimate power. That man or being or something you must find. The man who controls this galaxy, and we suspect others, possibly the entire universe. Why? Why? Exclaimed an astonished ghost. Why? Look around you, lad. Does it look to you as if it's in everyone's very good hands? It's all right. The old ghost glowered at him. I will not argue with you. You will simply take this ship, this improbability drive ship, to where it is needed. You will do it. Don't think you can escape your purpose. The improbability field controls you. You are in its grip. What's this? He was standing tapping at one of the terminals of Eddie, the shipboard computer. Zaphod told him. What's it doing? It is trying, said Zaphod with wonderful restraint, to make tea. Good, said his great-grandfather. I approve of that. Now, Zaphod, he said, turning and wagging a finger at him. I don't know if you are really capable of succeeding in your job. I think you will not be able to avoid it. However, I am too long dead and too tired to care as much as I did. The principal reason I am helping you now is that I couldn't bear the thought of you and your modern friends slouching about up here, understood? Yeah, thanks a bundle. Oh, and Zaphod? Yeah. If you ever find you need help again, you know, if you're in trouble, need a hand out of the back corner. Yeah? Please don't hesitate to get lost. Within the space of 1 second, a bolt of light flashed from the wizened old ghost's hand to the computer. The ghost vanished, the bridge filled with billowing smoke, and a part of gold leaped an unknown distance through the dimensions of time and space. Well, we're at chapter 4. Oh my goodness. So on that note, boys and girls, we go to our first music break. On this break, we have Mr. Jeff Hubert from Los Angeles, California. He's going to be singing Finger Bang Your Day, Consensual Sex and Silicon Wave, Multitude, and Coffee Hills. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this music break.
When your life is a never-ending train wreck and you feel like you're drowning in a sea of regret, with a bit of oppression pressing down on your neck, it hurts so bad. When your overwhelming hatred kills your heart's desire and reality starts looking like a dumpster fire, you start bitching to me, but you're preaching to the choir. You don't need to be so mad. 'Cause sometimes we hurt, sometimes we cry, sometimes we're sure there's no reason to try. When the whole world goes completely insane, open your heart, stand up and sing. I'm gonna finger bang my day. Yeah, yeah, I'll finger bang my day. That's right. You gotta make the choice to give it all you've got and make your day long with pleasure, really make it hot. Because your day deserves a lover that pulls out the stops. Come on, it's not so hard. 'Cause sometimes we hurt, sometimes we cry, sometimes we're sure there's no reason to try. When the whole world blows up in our face, what else could we do but stand up and sing? I'm gonna finger bang my day. Yeah, yeah, finger bang my day. Hey, what are we really doing? We can't live in a world that has this much hate. We have to get honest with ourselves. We have to take stock in what our part is in all of this madness. We have to let go, and we focus on giving love, setting that intention. And each and every single one of us gets up every day with the intention to give love. And we do it. We go out there and we give love every single day. Each one of us gets out there and makes love to our day. Giving our day a multiple orgasm. The whole world will be orgasmic for the rest of eternity. Sometimes we hurt, sometimes we cry, sometimes we're sure there's no reason to try. When the Just get in the van.
I just got a package, I can't wait to get home. I spent all day tracking the shipment on my phone, all that she was lacking. I ordered custom, I can't wait to get some. Take it to the bedroom, she's always nagging. Now I got the air, I said this bitch is packing, going my way. I have a new attraction, don't care what you say, it's better in every way. Now baby, it's time to play, we're gonna make us a tape and show everyone the way. Cause I'm going cause I'm going riding up Silicon Way. I see on the game with my new real dog. I'm gonna play just second way to Mount Silicon Way. She is here to stay. She's my new real dog, and it's time to play.
My dreams.
Voulez-vous coucher avec moi?
Fais-moi l'amour.
Je suis amoureux.
Je pense toujours à
Enchanté,
tu es charmant.
ma chérie. Mon
Tu es
futur
gentil.
dans une hostie.
Tu
Ils étaient sur le nipple.
es chaud. Fais-moi
Like living on a super yacht, making love to a robot. It's like owning a football team, but having sex with a robot. It's like winning an Oscar and having a Grammy when you're fucking a robot. It's like saving a family with a newborn from a fire, but you're fucking a robot. I'm going riding up Silicon Way. I see on the game with my new real dog. I'm gonna play just second way to Mount Silicon Way. She is here to stay. She's my new real dog, and it's time to play.
You
desperate and pathetic. Nothing but a coward. You're a fool with nothing to offer. No one will ever believe you. They see you for what you are. You're just a fraud, a shell of a person. And now the power of the spirit of penetrate the demons that haunt you. They enslave you to the depths of the hate. I am the
I got molar moves, got that molar too. You think it's wrong? Back of the head too long. Fuck that. Check these molar moves. You need a molar too. I can do no wrong. Back of the head long, never gonna cut it.
All these hookers sweet on me. Look at them chasing me, showing me that ass. And I banged up to snatch. I do this shit for free. Go down your mom till 3. She's taking selfies with the mullet like it's history. How can I maneuver you with that pussy, dude? You sit like Buddha waiting on it to come to you. My lines are straight to the point. She shows me gratitude. So what's your latitude? Let's adjust your attitude. Head with a alligator, double dually Lamborghini. All up in a silly little yellow polka dot bikini.
I got molar moves, I got that molar too. You think it's wrong? Back of the head too long. Fuck that.
Head with a alligator, double dually Lamborghini. All up in a silly little yellow polka dot bikini.
Check these molar moves. You need a molar too. I can do no wrong. Back of the head long, never gonna cut it.
Alligator, double dually Lamborghini. All up in a silly little yellow polka dot bikini. You're like the butt of a butter knife cutting up panini. So climb back in your kangaroo pouch like a rolling genie. These moves are hot, these locks I got. This power cannot be disputed and it can't be bought. So you can find me in the studio with all these thoughts. You wanna buy my style, but you can't be what you're not, neighbor.
I got molar moves, I got that molar too. You think it's wrong? Back of the head too long. Fuck that. Check these molar moves. You need a molar too. I can do no wrong. Back of the head long, never gonna cut it. Got that motherfucking molar head. You wanna touch it?
Yeah. Next time you come around here with your bitch ass, just remember how my mullet makes your hoes pussy drip, drip, drip.
I got molar moves, I got that molar too. You think it's wrong? Back of the head too long. Fuck that. Check these molar moves. You need a molar too. I can do no wrong. Back of the head long, never gonna cut it. I got molar moves, I got that molar too. You think it's wrong? Back of the head too long. Fuck that. Check these molar moves. You need a molar too. I can do no wrong. Back of the head long, never gonna cut it. Never gonna cut it. Never gonna cut it.
Drip, drip,
Molar moves.
Just a molar, bitch.
Molar moves.
drip, drip.
Molar moves. Never gonna cut it.
Welcome back, and thanks so much for joining me tonight on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night Rockies. This evening, we are reading Douglas Adams' The Restaurant at the End of the Universe. It's been pretty good so far. back into it. I'll try to turn this thing. Okay, I suppose. Chapter 4. 10 light years away, the gag Hellfront jacked up his smile by several notches as he watched the picture on his vision screen. Relayed across the sub-ether in the bridge of the Vogon ship, he saw the final shreds of the hard gold's fort shield ripped away, and the ship itself vanish in a puff of smoke. Good, he thought. The end of the last stray survivors of the demolition he had ordered on the planet Earth, he thought. The final end of the dangerous to be psychiatric profession and subversive also to the psychiatric profession experiment to find the question to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything, he thought. There would be some celebration of his fellows tonight, and in the morning they would meet again, their unhappy, bewildered, and highly profitable patients, secure in the knowledge that the meaning of life would not now be, once and for all, well and truly sorted out, he thought. Family is always embarrassing, isn't it? Said Ford Zaphod as the smoke began to clear. He paused. He looked about. Where's Zaphod? He said. Arthur and Trillian looked about blankly. They were pale and shaken and didn't know where Zaphod was. Marvin, said Ford. Where's Zaphod? A moment later he said, Where's Marvin? The robot corner was empty. The ship was utterly silent. It lay in thick black space. Occasionally, it rocked and swayed. Every instrument was dead. Every vision screen was dead. They could split the computer, and it said, I regret I have been temporarily closed to all communication. Meanwhile, here's some light music. They turned off the light music. The surgeon reported the ship in increasing bewilderment and alarm. Everywhere was dead and silent, and nowhere was there any trace of Zaphod or Marvin. One of the last areas they checked was the small bay in which the new traumatic machine was located. On the delivery plate of the new traumatic drink synthesizer was a small tray on which sat 3 bone china cups and saucers, a bone china jug of milk, a silver teapot full of the best tea Arthur had ever tasted, and a small printed note saying, Wait. Chapter 5. Ursa Minor Vader is, some say, one of the most appalling places in the known universe. Although it is excruciatingly rich, horrifyingly stunning, and more full of wonderfully exciting people than the pomegranate is the piss, it can hardly be insignificant that when a recent edition of Playing magazine headlined an article with the words, When you are tired of Ursa Minor Beta, you are tired of life. The suicide rate there quadrupled overnight. Not that there were any nights on Ursa Minor Beta. It is a west zone planet, which by an inexplicable and somewhat suspicious freak of topography, consists mostly entirely of subtropical coastline. By an equally suspicious freak of temporal statics, it is nearly always Sunday afternoon just before the beach bars close. No adequate explanation for this has been furthermore forthcoming from the dominant life forms on Ursa Minor Beta, who spend most of their time attempting to achieve spiritual enlightenment by running around swimming pools and inviting investigation officials from the Galactic Geotemporal Control Board to have a nice steering anomaly. There is only one city in Ursa Minor Beta, and that is only called a city because the swimming pools are slightly thicker on the ground there than elsewhere. He approached Light City by air, and there's no other way of approaching it. No roads, no port facilities. If you don't fly, they don't want to see you in the Light City. You will see why it has this name. Here the sun shines brightest of all, glittering on the swimming pools, shimmering on the healthy bronze, shimmering on the white, palm-lined boulevards, glistening on the healthy bronze specks moving up and down them, gleaming off the villas and hazy airpads, the beach bars, and so on. Most particularly, it shines on a building, a tall, beautiful building consisting of 2 30-story white towers connected by a bridge halfway up their leaves. The building was the home of a book, and was built here on the proceeds of an extraordinary copyright lawsuit fought between the book's editors and the Breakfast Cereal Company. The book is a guidebook, a travel book. It is one of the most remarkable, certainly the most successful books ever to come out of the great publishing corporations of Earth and Minor. More popular than Life Begins at 550. Better selling than The Big Bang Theory, a personal view by Eccentrica Calambits. The triple-breasted horror of Erotica 6. More controversial than Oolong Quarterfeed's latest blockbuster title, Everything You Never Wanted to Know About Sex But Have Been Forced to Find Out. Interesting. And in many of the more relaxed civilizations on the outer east rim of the galaxy, it has long supplanted the great Encyclopedia Electrica as the standard repository of all knowledge and wisdom for thought. It has many omissions and contains much that is apocryphal, or at least wildly inaccurate. It scores over the older, more pedestrian work in two important respects. First, it is slightly cheaper, and secondly, has the words "Little Panic" printed on in large friendly letters on its cover. It is, of course, that invaluable companion for all those who want to see the marvels of the known universe. For less than 30 Altarian dollars a day, the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. If you stood with your back to the main entrance lobby of the guide office, assuming you had landed by now, and freshened up with a quick dip and shower, and then walked east, you would pass along the leafy shade of Life Boulevard. Be amazed at the pale golden color of the beaches stretching away to your left, astounded by the mine surfers moving carelessly along 2 feet above the waves as if this was nothing special. Surprised and eventually slightly irritated by the giant palm trees that hung tuneless nothings throughout the daylight hours, in other words, continuously. If you then walked to the end of Life Boulevard, you would enter the Lalamet. They're doing what tomorrow? No, I got for her the other day. She was gonna drink that, and didn't. Would you quit looking so sad, boy? Well, I'll get you one tomorrow when I go to town, okay? I'm sorry. Good lord. He's upset because apparently he broke the tanks, and then he's mad because Lily got a drink. Because she went with me the other day. Anywho's, poor guy. Alright. Lalamatine district of shops, full of nuts, trees, and pavement cafes with batons come to relax after a hard afternoon's relaxation on the beach. The Lalamatine district is one of those very few areas which doesn't enjoy a perpetual Saturday afternoon. It enjoys instead the cool of a perpetual early Saturday evening. Behind it lie the nightclubs. If on this particular day afternoon, stretch of evening time, call it what you will, you had approached the second pavement cafe on the right, you had seen the usual crowd of batons chatting, drinking, looking very relaxed and casually glancing at each other's watches to see how expensive they were. You would also have seen a couple of rather disheveled-looking hitchhikers from Al-Ghul, who had recently arrived on an Arcturian mega-freighter, aboard which they had been roughing it for a few days. They were angry and bewildered to discover that here, within sight of the Hitchhiker's Guide building itself, a simple glass of fruit juice costs the equivalent of over 60 Altarian dollars. "Sell out," one of them said bitterly. If at that moment you had been looked at the next table, you would have seen Zafar Beeblebug sitting and looking very startled and confused. The reason for his confusion was that 5 seconds earlier he had been sneaking the bridge of a starship part of gold. "Absolute sellout," said the voice again. Zaphod looked nervously out of the corners of his eyes at the two disheveled hitchhikers at the next table. Where the hell was he? How had he got there? Where was his ship? His hand felt the arm of the chair on which he was sitting, and then the table in front of him. They seemed solid enough. He sat very still. How can they sit and write a guide for hitchhikers in a place like this? Continued the voice. I mean, look at it. Look at it. Zaphod was looking at it. Nice place, he thought, but where and why? He fished in his pocket for his 2 pairs of sunglasses. In the same pocket, he felt a hard, smooth, unidentified lump of very heavy metal. He pulled it out and looked at it. He blinked at it in surprise. Where had he gotten that? He returned it to his pocket and put on the glasses, annoyed to discover that the metal object had scratched out one of the lenses. Nevertheless, he felt much more comfortable with them on. There were a double pair of Jujanda 200 super chromatic aerosensitive sunglasses, which had been specially designed to help people develop a relaxed attitude to danger. At the first hint of trouble, they turned totally black and thus prevented him from seeing anything that might alarm him. Apart from the scratch, the lenses were clear. He relaxed, but only a little bit. The angry hitchhiker continued to glare at his monstrously expensive fruit juice. Worst thing that ever happened to the guy moving towards a minor beta, he grumbled. They've all gone soft, you know. I've even heard that they've created whole electronically synthesized universe in one of their offices so they can go and research stories during the day instead of go to parties in the evening. Not that day and evening mean much in this place. First the minor beta, thought Zaphod. At least he knew where he was now. He assumed that this must be his great-grandfather's doing, but why? Much to his annoyance, a thought popped into his mind. It was very clear and very distinct, and he had now come to recognize these thoughts for what they were. His instinct was to resist them. They were the preordained promptings from the dark and locked off parts of his mind. He sat still and ignored the thought furiously. It nagged at him. He ignored it. It nagged at him. He ignored it. It nagged at him. He gave into it. What the hell, he thought. Go with the flow. He was too tired, confused, and hungry to resist. He didn't even know what the thought meant. Chapter 6. Hello? Yes? Megiddo Publications, home of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the most totally remarkable book in the whole of the known universe. Sorry, the group is trying to call. Can I help you? Said the large, pink-winged insect into one of the 70 phones lined up along the vast chrome expanse of the reception desk in the foyer of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy offices. It fluttered its wings and rolled its eyes. It glared at all the grubby people cluttering up the foyer, soiling the carpets and leaving dirty hand marks on the upholstery. It adored working for the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It just wished that there was, good lord, decline. Some way of keeping all the hitchhikers away. Weren't they meant to be hanging around dirty spaceports or something? It was certain that it had read something somewhere in the book about the importance of hanging around dirty spaceports. Unfortunately, most of them seemed to come and hang around in this nice, clean, shiny foyer immediately after hanging around in extremely dirty spaceports. And all they ever did was complain. It shivered its wings. What? It said in the phone. Yes, I passed on your message to Mr. Zarnaboo. I'm afraid he's too cool to see you right now. He's on an intergalactic cruise. I waved a petulant tentacle at one of the grubby people who was angrily trying to engage its attention. The petulant tentacle directed the angry person to look at the notice on the wall to its left and not to interrupt an important phone call. Yes, said the insect. He is in his office, but he's on an intergalactic cruise. Thank you so much for calling. He slammed down the phone. Read the notice, said the angry man who was trying to complain about one of the ludicrous and dangerous pieces of misinformation contained in the book. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is an indispensable companion to all those who are keen to make sense of life in an infinitely complex and confusing universe, for though it cannot hope to be useful or informative on all matters, it does at least make the reassuring claim that where it is inaccurate, it is at least definitively inaccurate. In cases of major discrepancy, it's always reality that's got it wrong. This was the gist of the notice. It said, the guide is definitive, reality is frequently inaccurate. This had led to some interesting consequences. For instance, when the editors of the guide were sued by the families of those who had died as a result of taking the entry to the planet, Troll literally said, ravenous, bug-bladdered beasts often make a very good meal for visiting tourists. Instead of ravenous, bug-bladdered beasts often make a very good meal of visiting tourists. They claim that the first version of the sentence was the more aesthetically pleasing, summoned a qualified poet to testify under oath that beauty was truth beauty, and hoped thereby to prove that the guilty party in this case was life itself, for failing to be either beautiful or true. The judges spoke in a moving speech held that life itself was in contempt of court, and duly confiscated it from all those there present before going off to enjoy a pleasant evening's ultra golf. Zaphod Beeblebrox entered the foyer. He strode up to the insect receptionist. Okay, he said. Where's Zarnywhoop? Get me Zarnywhoop. Excuse me, sir, said the insect icily. It did not care to be addressed in this manner. Zarnywhoop, get him, right? Get him now. Well, sir, snapped the fragile little creature, if you could be a little cool about it. Look, said Zaphod, I'm up here with cool, okay? I am so amazingly cool, you could keep a sight of meat in me for a month. I am so hip, I have difficulty seeing over my pelvis. Now will you move before I blow it? Well, if you'd let me explain, sir, said the insect, tapping the most petulant of all the tentacles at its disposal. I'm afraid that isn't possible right now, as Mr. Zarnywhoop is on an intergalactic cruise. Hell, thought Zaphod. When's he going to be back, he said. Back, sir? He's in his office. Zaphod paused while he tried to sort this particular thought out in his mind. He didn't succeed. This cat's on an intergalactic cruise? In his office? He leaned forward and clicked the tapping tentacle. Listen, three guys, he said. Don't you try to out-weird me. I get stranger things than you food with my breakfast cereal. Well, just who do you think you are, honey? Flaunts the insect, quivering its wings in range. Zaphod Beeblebrox or something? Count the head, said Zaphod, in a little rouse. The insect blinked at him. It blinked at him again. You are Zaphod Beeblebrox, it squeaked. Yeah, said Zaphod, but don't shout it out or they'll all want one. The Zaphod Beeblebrox? No, just a Zaphod Beeblebrox. Didn't you hear? I come in 6 packs. The insect rattled its tentacles together in agitation. But sir, it squealed, I just heard on the sub-ether radio report it said that you were dead. Yeah, that's right, said Zaphod. I just haven't stopped moving it. Now, where do I find Zarnywhoop? Well, sir, his office is on the 15th floor, but he's on an intergalactic cruise. Yeah. How do I get to him? The newly installed Sirius Cybernetics Corporation Happy Political People Transporters are in the far corner, sir, but, sir, Zaphod was trying to go. He turned back. Yeah, he said. Can I ask you why you want to see Mr. Zarnywhoop? Yeah, said Zaphod. He was unclear on this point himself. I told myself I'd have to. Coming in, sir? Zaphod leaned forward, conspiratorially. I just materialized out of thin air in one of your cafes, he said, as a result of an argument with the ghost of my great-grandfather. No sooner had I got there than my former self, the one that operated on my brain, popped into my head and said, go see Zarnywhoop. I've never heard of that cat. That is all I know. That and the fact that I've got to find the man who rules the universe. He winked. Thanks for being here, sir, said the insect in all wonder. You're so weird, you should be in movies. Yeah, said Zaphod, having a thing on a river cocoon. And you, baby, should be in real life. The insect paused for a moment to recover from his agitation, and then reached out in a answer a ringing phone. A metal hand restrained it. Excuse me, said the owner of the metal hand in a voice that would have made an insect a more sentimental disposition collapsed into it. This was not such an insect, and it couldn't stand robots. Yes, sir, snapped. Can I help you? I doubt it, said Marvin. In that case, if you'll just excuse me. 6 of the phones were helping him. A million things invaded the insect's attention. No one can help you, intoned Marvin. Yes, sir, well, not that anyone's trying to hurt us. Restraining metal hand fell limply by Marvin's side, and his head hung forward very slightly. Is that so? The insect said tartly. Hardly worth any words. While I help a menial robot, is it? I'm sorry, sir, where's the percentage in being kind or helpful to a robot if it doesn't have any gratitude circuits? And you don't have any, said the insect, who didn't seem to be able to drag itself out of this conversation. I have never had occasion to find out, Marvin informed it. Listen, you miserable heap of maladjacent metal. Aren't you going to ask me what I want? The insect paused. Its long, thin tongue darted out and licked its eyes and darted back again. Is it worth it? It asked. Is anything, said Marvin immediately. What do you want? I'm looking for someone. Who? Hissed the insect. Zaphod Beeblebrock, said Marvin. He's over there. The insect shook with rage. It could hardly speak. Then why did you ask me? It screamed. I just wanted something to talk to, said Marvin. What? Pathetic, isn't it? With a grinding of gears, Marvin turned and tunneled off. He caught up with Zaphod approaching the elevators. Zaphod spun around in astonishment. Hey, Marvin, he said. Marvin, how did you get here? Marvin was forced to say something which came very hard to him. I don't know, he said, but one moment I was sitting in your ship feeling very depressed, and the next moment I was standing here feeling utterly miserable. An improbability filled, I expect. Yeah, said Zaphod. I expect my great-grandfather sent you along to keep me company. Figs a bundle, Granddad, he added to himself under his breath. So how are you? He said aloud. Oh, fine, said Marvin. But you happen to like being mean, which personally I don't. Yeah, said Zaphod as the elevator doors opened. Hello, said the elevator sweetly. I am to be your elevator for the trip to the floor of your choice. I've been designed by the Cirrus Cybernetics Corporation to take you, the visitor, to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and to these their offices. If you enjoy the ride, which will be swift and pleasurable, then you may care to experience some of the other elevators, which have recently been installed in the offices of the Galactic Taxi Department. Boop-a-doo Baby Foods and the Sirius Dental Hospital, where many ex-Sirius Cybernetics Corporation executives will be delighted to welcome your visits. Sympathy and happy tales of the outside world. Yeah, said Zaphod, stepping into it. What else do you do besides talk? I go up, said the elevator, or down. Good, said Zaphod. We're going up. Or down, the elevator reminded him. Yeah, okay, up, please. There was a moment of silence. Down's very nice, suggested the elevator hopefully. Oh yeah? Super! Good, said Zaphod. Now, will you take us up? May I ask you, inquired the elevator in its sweetest, most reasonable voice, if you've considered all the possibilities that might offer you? Zaphod knocked one of his heads against the inside wall. He didn't need this, he thought to himself. This of all things he had no need of. He hadn't asked to be here. If he was asked at this moment where he would like to be, he would probably have said he would like to be lying on the beach with at least 50 beautiful women and a small team of experts working out new ways they could be nice to him, which was his usual reply. To this, he would probably have added something passionate on the subject of food. One thing he didn't want to be doing was chasing after the man who ruled the universe. He was only doing a job, which he might as well keep doing. He might as well keep at because if it wasn't him, it would only be someone else. Most of all, he didn't want to be standing in an office block arguing with an elevator. Like, what other possibilities? He said bitterly. Well, the voice trickled in like honey out of biscuits. There's the basement, the microfiles, the heating system. It paused. Nothing particularly exciting, it admitted, but there are alternatives. Holy Zarquan, muttered Zaphod. Did I ask for an existential elevator? He beat his fist against the wall. What's the matter with the thing? He spat. It doesn't want to go up, said Marvin simply. I think it's afraid. Afraid? Cried Zaphod. Of what? Heights? An elevator that's afraid of heights? No, said the elevator miserably. Of the future. The future? Exclaimed Zaphod. What does the wretched thing want? A pension plan? At that moment, a commotion broke out in the reception hall behind them. From the walls around them came the sound of suddenly active machinery. We can all see into the future, whispered the elevator in what sounded like terror. It's part of our programming. Zaphod looked out of the elevator. An agitated crowd had gathered around the elevator area, pointing and shouting. Every elevator in the building was coming down very fast. He ducked back in. Marvin, he said, just get this elevator to go up, will you? We've got to get to Zarneywood. Why? Asked Marvin, dolefully. I don't know, said Zaphod, but when I find him, he'd better have a very good reason for me wanting to see him. Modern elevators are strange and complex entities. The ancient electric winch and maximum capacity 8 persons. Jobs bear as much relation to a Sirius Cybernetics Corporation Happy Brotherhood people transporter as a packet of mixed nuts does to the entire west wing of the Sirius State Mental Hospital. This is because they operate on the curious principle of defocused temporal perception. In other words, they have a capacity to see dimly into the immediate future, which enables the elevator to be on the right floor to pick you up, even before you knew you wanted it, thus eliminating all the tedious chatting, relaxing, and making friends that people were previously forced to do while waiting for elevators. Not unnaturally, many elevators imbued with intelligence and precognition became terribly frustrated with the mindless business of going up and down, experimented briefly with the notion of going sideways as a sort of existential protest, demanded participation in the decision-making process, and finally took to squatting in the basement sulking. An impoverished hitchhiker visiting the planets in the Sirius star system these days can pick up easy money working as a counselor for neurotic elevators. At the 15th floor, the elevator door smacked open quickly. 15th, said the elevator, and remember, I'm only doing this because I like your robot. Zaphod and Marvin bundled out of the elevator, which instantly snapped its door shut and dropped as fast as its mechanism would take it. Zaphod looked around quickly. The corridor was deserted and silent, and gave no clue as to where the Zarneywood might be found. All the doors that led off the corridor were closed and unmarked. They were standing close to the bridge, which led across from one tower of the building to the other. Through a large window, the brilliant sun of gruesome minor data and through blocks of light in which danced small specks of dust. A shadow flitted past momentarily. Left and alert, try a lift, muttered Zaphod, who was floating at least. His lips dropped. They both stood and looked to both directions. You know something? Said Zaphod to Marvin. More than you can possibly imagine. I'm dead certain this building shouldn't be shaking, Zaphod said. It was just a light tremor through the soles of his feet, and another one, and the sunbeams flecked the dust danced more vigorously. Another shadow flitted past. Zaphod looked at the floor. Either, he said, not very confidently, they've got some vibro system for tuning up your muscles while they work, or he walked across the window and suddenly stumbled because, at that moment, His Jujanda 200 super-chromatic pearl-sensitive sunglasses had turned utterly black. A large shadow flitted across the window with a sharp buzz. Zaphod ripped off his sunglasses, and as he did so, the building shook with a tremendous roar. He leaped to the window. Or, he said, this building's being bombed. Another roar cracked through the building. Who in the galaxy would want to bomb a publishing company? Asked Zaphod, but never heard Marvin's reply because at that moment the building shook with another bomb attack. He tried to stagger back to the elevator, a pointless maneuver, he realized, but the only one he could think of. Suddenly, at the end of the corridor leading at the right angles from this one, he caught sight of a figure as it lunged into view, a man. The man saw him. Beetlebrox, over here, he shouted. Zaphod eyed him with distrust as another bomb blast rocked the building. No, called Zaphod. Beetlebrox, over here, who are you? A friend, shouted back the man. He ran towards Zaphod. Oh yeah, said Zaphod. Anyone's friend in particular, or just generally well-disposed to people? The man raced along the corridor, the floor bucking beneath his feet like an excited blanket. He was short, stocky, and weather-beaten, and his clothes looked as if they'd been twice around the galaxy and back with him in them. Do you know, Zaphod shouted in his ear when he arrived, your building's being bombed? The man indicated his awareness. It suddenly stopped being light, glancing around at the window to see why Zaphod gaped as a huge, slug-like, gun-metal-wielding spacecraft crept through the air past the building. Two more followed it. The government you deserted is out to get you, Zaphod, hissed the man. They sent a squadron of Frogstar fighters. Frogstar fighters? Where's Zaphod? Zarkon? You get the picture? What are Frogstar fighters? Zaphod was sure he'd heard someone talk about them when he was president, but he never paid much attention to official matters. The man was pulling him back through a door. He went with him. With a searing whine, a small black spider-like object shot through the air and disappeared down the corridor. What was that? Hissed Zaphod. Frogstar Scout, Robot, Class A, out looking for you, said the man. Hey, yeah? Get down. From the opposite direction came a larger black, spider-like object. It zapped past them. And that was? A Frogstar Scout, Robot Class B, out looking for you. And that, said Zaphod, as if the one seared through the air, a Frogstar Scout, Robot Class C, out looking for you. Hey, chuckled Zaphod to himself. Pretty split robots, eh? Over the bridge came a massive rumbling hum. A gigantic black shape was moving over it from the opposite tower, the size and shape of a tank. Holy photon, what's that? breathed Zaphod. A tank, said the man. Frogstar Scout and Robot Class D come to get you? Should we leave? I think we should. Marvin, called Zaphod. What do you want? Marvin rose from a pile of rubble further down the corridor and looked at them. You see that robot coming toward us? Marvin looked at the gigantic black ship edging forward toward them over the bridge. He looked down at his own small metal body. He looked back up at the tank. I suppose you want me to stop it? He said. Yeah. Will you save your skins? Yeah, said Zaphod. Get in there. Just so long, said Marvin, as I know. Where is it? The man tugged at Zaphod's arm, and Zaphod followed him off to the corridor. A point occurred to him about this. Where are we going? He said. Zarn looks off-face. Is this any time to keep an appointment? Come on. Chapter 7. Marvin stood at the end of the bridge corridor. He was not, in fact, a particularly small robot. His silver body gleamed in the dusty sunbeams and shook with the continual barrage in which the building was still undergoing. He did, however, look pitifully small as the gigantic white tank rolled to a halt in front of him. The tank examined him with a probe. The probe withdrew. Marvin stood there. Out of my way, little robot, growled the tank. I'm afraid, said Marvin, that I've been left here to stop you. The crowd extended again for a quick recheck. They withdrew again. You? Stop me? Really? Go on. No, really, I have, said Marvin simply. What are you armed with? roared the tank in disbelief. Guess, said Marvin. The tank's engines rumbled. Its gears ground. Molecule-sized electronic relays deep in its microbrain flip backward and forward in consternation. Yes, said the tank. Zaphod and the as-yet unnamed man lurched up one corridor, down a second, and along a third. The building continued to rock and shudder, and this puzzled Zaphod. If they wanted to blow the building up, why was it taking so long? With difficulty, they reached a number of totally anonymous unmarked doors and heaved at it. With a sudden jolt, it opened, and they fell inside. All this way, thought Zaphod, all this trouble, all this not lying on the beach having a wonderful time, and for what? A single chair, a single desk, and a single dirty ashtray in an undecorated office. The desk apart from a bit of dancing dust and a single revolutionary new form of paperclip was empty. Where, said Zaphod, is Arnie? Feeling that his already tenuous gap, all the point of this whole exercise, was beginning to slip. He's on an intergalactic cruise, said the man. Zaphod tried to size the man up. Ernest, he thought, not a barrel of laughs. He probably apportioned a fair whack of his time to running up and down heavy corridors, breaking down doors, and making cryptic remarks in empty offices. Let me introduce myself, the man said. My name is Roosta, and this is my towel. Hello, Roosta, said Zaphod. Hello, Tal, he added as Roosta held out to him the rather nasty old flowery towel. Not knowing what to do with it, he shook it by the corner. Outside the window, one of the huge, slug-like gun-metal green spaceships rolled past. Yes, come on, said Marvin to the huge battle machine. You'll never guess. Said the machine, vibrating with unaccustomed thought. Laser beams? Marvin shook his head solemnly. No, muttered the machine in a steep, too obvious. Not a ray? Hazard? Far too obvious, remarked Marvin. Yes, grumbled the machine somewhat abashed. How about an electron ram? This was new to Marvin. What's that? He said. One of these, said the machine with enthusiasm. From its turret emerged a sharp prong which spat a single lethal blaze of light. Behind Marvin, a wall roared and collapsed as a heap of dust. The dust billowed briefly and settled. No, said Marvin, not one of those. Good though, isn't it? Very good, agreed Marvin. I know, said Foxstar by the machine, after another moment of consideration. You must have one of those new xanthic, restructron, destabilized, xenon emitters. Nice, aren't they? Said Marvin. That's what you've got, said the machine, and it's in the wall. No, said Marvin. Oh, said the machine disappointed. Then it must be. You're thinking along the wrong lines, said Marvin. You're going to take into account something fairly basic on the relationship between men and robots. I know, said the battle machine. Is it... I trailed off from the thought again. Just think, urged Marvin. They left me, an ordinary, mediocre robot to stop you, a gigantic, heavy-duty battle machine, while they ran off to save themselves. What do you think they would leave me with? Muttered the machine in alarm. Something pretty damn devastating, I should expect. Expect? Said Marvin. Oh yes, expect. I'll tell you what they gave me to protect myself with, shall I? Yes, all right, said the battle machine, raising itself. Nothing, said Marvin. A dangerous plot. Nothing? Roared the battle machine. Nothing at all, intoned Marvin dismayed. Not an electronic sausage. The machine heaved about with fury. Well, doesn't that just hit the biscuit? It roared. Nothing, eh? Just don't think, do they? And me, said Marvin, in a soft, low voice, with this terrible pain in all the diodes down my left side. Makes you spit, doesn't it? Yes, agreed Marvin with feeling. Hell, that makes me angry, bellowed the machine. Think I'll smash that wall down. The electron ram stabbed out another searing blaze of light and took out the wall next to the machine. How do you think I feel? Said Marvin bitterly. Just ran off and left you, did they? Said the machine thunder. Yes, said Marvin. I think I'll shoot down their bloody ceiling as well, raged the tank. It took out the ceiling of the bridge. That's very impressive, murmured Marvin. You ain't seen nothing yet, promised the machine. I can take out this floor too. No trouble. It took out the floor too. Hell's bells, the machine roared as it plummeted 15 stories and smashed itself to bits on the ground below. What a depressingly stupid machine, said Marvin, and trudged away. We're at chapter 8. On that note, we're going to go to our second music break. On this break, we have listed Mr. Jeff Slater with his ballad, Abandoned. And then we also have Ms. Mia Savage with her group Antidote for Savages. And she will be singing Email Crypto, Your Skeleton, and The Bottom Line. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this music break.
With
nada. Because it's just a ride, and we can change it anytime we want.
It's all we need is a choice. No record, no work, no job, no savings of money.
Just a choice right now between fear and love.
In this next clip, a woman in Switzerland captures something bizarre. Take a look. The earth starts spewing waves of dirt and rocks up onto the street.
Mom, it's time. I need to play arcade cabinet. And it's...
Okay, arcade what card?
Arcade cabinet, and it's 10.
Okay,
Exactly.
well, go ahead.
1001, 1001.
Yeah, I still got a video going, but go ahead and try it.
But your show's...
Yeah, the other video finished a little early, so I started another one by Minds CTV, and it is correct. Hey, don't be getting in here, Mr. Chonies.
That's... 820. Mom, that's gonna be a while.
Well, dude, can you just try it and see if it works?
Hi, Mom. It's...
It's
at 8:31.
Really? Is the TV off?
No, but that wouldn't be affecting it's your show, Mom. We know.
Dude, turn the TV off and see what happens. Oh, well, go ahead and turn it off if you want a game, dude. Anywho's. Alright, so I'm gonna go to the main screen here. My freaking Spreaker peeps, man, I'll let you down again. But anyways, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me this evening on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night Rockies on Spreaker. I really appreciate you guys being here. Please tune in again next weekend. We got a lot of good stuff coming up in the future. Another Paranormal Forum. Chris Garcia on the 20th. On the 21st, we have a guy by the name of Chris something. He's going to be talking about the cover-up at the Vatican. It's going to be freaking epic. I'm super excited about that, but I just want to thank all of my friends out there from KPNL Radio, Facebook, Twitter, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, wherever the heck you're listening beyond the Omniverse tonight. It was amazing having you. I'm sorry, my Spreaker peeps, like I left you muted again. If you were not able to hear us, which I know you weren't, because I just now saw this from coming back from break, please tune into YouTube, and that way you can see the whole show. But anyways, until next time, my name is Love and Light. Take care of my news. I will see you back here next week. Same crazy time, same crazy epic place. If you have any ideas as far as shows, any comments, good or bad, anything like that, send me an email to my Gmail, weareparadoxmedia@gmail.com, and I will try my best to do what I can for you.